This is absolutely criminal.
Okay, welcome to Absolutely Criminal, everybody. This is Andrew, and I'm here with Tiffie Lou. How you feeling, Tiffie Lou?
I feel like crap.
Oh, you're more like Sniffy Lou today, am I right?
Yeah, this has been ongoing. This is a full week now, and I'm tired.
Yeah, poor baby.
Oh well, there's only 4 people here, so it looks like I won't be offending the whole crowd.
Yeah, well, welcome. We had an impromptu stream earlier today when we watched the verdict come in the.
I am floored, and I didn't watch it.
Mhm.
Andrew told me, but I'm floored.
Yeah.
I am floored.
So we'll take a look at that.
Oh, am I going to give it away? Sorry.
Sorry. No, you just said you're floored is all. So
yeah.
And
Okay.
is Shannon to blame for anything that potentially went wrong in court? And then, of course, we'll take a look at Colonel Underpants.
Of course she is. Oh, Phoenix is here. Somebody did pop in and say hi.
What's up, Phoenix? Hey, Bama
Phoenix,
Green Eyes.
And Bama came in.
Welcome, everybody. We'll get a few more people here, and then we'll start. Let's go with the verdict. And this happened just about an hour ago.
You don't have any comments?
Oh, I do have comments. Yeah, but we're just gonna bust out with.
We had an order. I guess we don't. We just do things however you feel.
Seat of my pants, baby.
All right.
All right. Here is the verdict.
All right. What did that happen on purpose?
No, that did not happen.
Was that
on
part
purpose.
of the show?
I think I might have uploaded the wrong clip.
Okay, because I'm she's not saying anything. She just looks sad.
This is really good for the start of the show, you know. How's everybody doing?
I'm so excited. Oh wow.
All right.
Yeah, now I get to watch him just flickle around on the computer. Clicking on things.
I think this has got to be it. Okay, let's.
They're all the same amount of time.
I know.
A minute.
This one is
seconds.
a minute and something though. How's everybody doing today?
Are they supposed to reply? Hi, Sparkle. Sparkles came in.
Yay,
okay.
Sparkles. Sparkles was here earlier for the verdict, and she reminded me that Eastern time is the true correct time. So even though we're on noon, 3 o'clock is
Did she only say that because she's Eastern?
3 o'clock is really where it's at. I don't know. I kind of think, growing up, I always wondered why you couldn't see stuff live on the West Coast. It would say live except for the West Coast. You know what I mean?
Christina Gutierrez. Oh, we're getting some more members.
Hey,
while you're stalling.
Welcome, everybody. The verdict is loading here. What I think is the verdict. If not,
her hair looks better in this video than the last one.
It does. It certainly does.
It looks like she brushed it.
Today she was looking a little bit rough. Maybe she, had short notice on this verdict. I thought it was going to be a hung jury. It was not. They do have
Phoenix
a
says
verdict.
If only they could find Wendy and Donna guilty as quickly.
I know.
Right?
All right, here we go.
With my kids, I don't monitor assignments.
Come on,
My
that's
gosh.
not even it. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. I don't have
all of this, and there's no video.
I'm sorry, I don't have but she was found guilty.
If you would believe it, he's been working on this since last night.
Oh my God. Well, when the verdict happened today, I was still working on the show and everything, so I got distracted, and I get distracted by shiny things.
Yeah.
And this was definitely shiny.
Stop
so.
using your ADHD as an excuse. Okay?
It's my only card I can
you
play.
take pills. You should be fixed by now.
All right. With that, let's just go to comments of the day.
Wait, Come on.
Okay, so Tiffy says we have to at least talk about the fact that she's guilty. We'll do that after the comments.
Because you've already brought one up. So,
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So this is about Stephanie Lazarus. We watched her interrogation. What did you
Yeah.
think of it, Tiffie Lou?
That was crazy. I'd never seen that. I mean, I'd heard her story and all that, but I had never seen the interrogation.
Yeah, she makes
So-
like 99 different faces.
Oh
throughout
my
the,
gosh, her faces. I want to borrow her face. She's got to be a great actress.
Oh yeah, if
You
she'd only
know?
gone into acting, she could be
That
on Broadway.
Face, man. Yeah, she can do all sorts of crazy things.
But alas, she went to the police academy and killed her former lover's wife.
And she used her acting skills eventually.
Mhm.
Anyway, there in the interrogation.
Yeah, didn't go over too well, but this person says, fun to revisit this, and a few errors in your commentary, one of which should definitely be corrected. Stephanie and John did not have an affair or sleep together when John was married to Sherry. He slept with Stephanie when he was engaged to Sherry.
I didn't know he said that.
Yeah, no, I did say they slept together after they were married, and
I didn't know that.
it had been so long. It was like a million years ago, you know.
I know you were
that
like 10.
Thought I
Yeah.
forgot that detail, but yeah, they were engaged at the time, not married.
Okay,
so.
but okay.
Oh, and then Skeeter Girl recommended this book, The Lazarus Files.
Oh yeah.
And I bought it on audio. It's 27 hours of audio book goodness. So I'm looking forward to
All right,
diving
that'll
into that.
keep you busy.
Yeah.
That'll be another distraction from finding the right video.
Yeah.
Dick.
And the
Sorry.
other little nugget this person put up, when Stephanie confronted Sherry at the hospital, she told Sherry about them sleeping together. And Sherry almost broke the engagement over it, but decided to forgive him.
Why?
Well,
She ended up dead.
yeah.
She shouldn't have forgiven him. She should have
That's-
said, forget this and walk.
It's not her fault.
I know.
Yeah.
But I don't. If you cheated on me when we were engaged, that'd be it.
Yeah, I'd be in the grave.
There
right?
would be no absolutely criminal.
Right.
There would be no future.
Yep.
I don't understand that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
It's not a nice thing to cheat on your spouse.
It's not considerate.
No, not at all. Okay, so the next comment has a 1-minute clip beforehand, and then we'll show you the comment, but this will put it into context.
With my kids, I don't monitor assignments. I don't look at their phones. I have no reason to. My son plays a lot of video games. My son's online talking to a bunch of people as he's playing a lot of video games. Even though he has a cell phone, I don't go through it and look at his messages every day. And as he gets older, I do know he's interested in girls. If he starts receiving nude pictures of a girl on the cell phone I own but let him use and gave him for his birthday when he turned 11, should I be held accountable for receiving child pornography if a girl sexts him over some inappropriate pictures? If my son decides he's going to send some pictures back and takes a nude picture of his bits and pieces, that's a 20-year felony. Am I then responsible because he sent a picture of his penis over to some girl? So not only taking the picture, a 20-year felony, but then we've got a 7-year felony for sending it over. Can every parent really be responsible for everything their children do?
Yeah, well, no, they can't be responsible for everything their children do. As we know, children are full of surprises.
Yeah.
Uh,
But we monitor Madeline's iPad use and
and-
so forth and who she's talking to.
yeah, I've never,
So, yeah.
I've never heard a lawyer talk about their children's bits and pieces in court. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was clever.
And this person says it was really disgusting when she asked, will she be accountable if her son should send photos of his bits and pieces to a girl one day? She really couldn't come up with a better example. Yeah.
It just, you know what she sounded like? It
Mhm.
sounded like a high school debate team.
Mhm.
You know, she has a young voice and that's not her fault, but
Yeah.
it's still a target. Sorry. And just the way she put everything together, opening her argument with Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
using this as a cell phone argument. I'm like, buying your kid a cell phone isn't the same as buying your kid a gun.
Right.
Okay.
And we're going to take a look at
what the heck? That's a terrible argument.
The highlights and lowlights of her closing argument are coming up next, after this next comment. So we'll see a lot of interesting stuff that I've never heard in a courtroom before. But, you know, what do I know? Let's see. So this, this is about the Crumbley case. And it says, I am so torn with this one. Having had a son who is constantly in trouble, it was a struggle. I sent him to summer school, provided tutors, night school, years with psychologists, dealing with legal system, on and on. Another son had a stellar 30-year military career and is so helpful to me in my 70s. The other son, who I have no contact with, never changed. In and out of jail, won't work, etc. I would not have wanted to be on trial for his conduct. I'm sure people blamed me. Some of the Crumbley's behavior is unbelievable to me, very poor parenting choices. But again, I hate to judge considering my own history. I do feel there were so many signs that were ignored.
Go back to the previous page.
Mm-hmm.
No, you did everything you could.
Yeah.
They did not.
Right. It sounds
summer
like
school, tutors, night school, psychologists. You did everything you could possibly do to try and help him, and they did not.
Right.
So that's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's kids. I mean, not everybody's kids, but yeah, there are kids that get into trouble and they make their own decisions and they give the parents the FU and whatever. And the parents got to do the best that they can with what they have.
They're eventually going to break your heart one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah. They never gave this kid a chance from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's what's sad when you see about how he was raised when he was young.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm still torn. I mean, the jury has obviously found him guilty. Our poll was about 60% guilty. So people saw this coming, but yeah. So James is not too happy at this moment. He's feeling like Charlie Adelson, trapped like a mouse, I'm sure. So, all right. So the star of the defense is Shannon Smith.
Of course.
And she has a history of mainly sexual abuse cases.
Yeah, nothing quite this heavy.
Defended Larry Nassar.
Right.
By all accounts, this looks like the first case that she's tried of this nature. I could be wrong, but let's see. Here are some of the highlights from her closing argument, and we'll go over those, and then we'll get to Russie Boy.
I like her little suit, though. That's
As
cute.
the prosecutor finished, she said, "This is shocking, unthinkable. I believe there were other words used throughout trial."
And I uploaded this compilation about a half an hour ago. So if you want to go after the show, of course,
not now.
If you want to go and see it without our stank all over it,
We
then
don't
you
have
can,
stank.
without our commentary, then you could go
It's
see
more of
it.
a perfume.
Yes, a musk, if you will. What happened here?
You have to be sure beyond a reasonable doubt. When you look back in hindsight, it is easy to say, this could have been different, that could have been different, this would have changed. And the other circumstance, the second one that makes a huge difference, is when you get full context around the evidence that is being used. And in this case, the prosecutor has cherry-picked little bits of evidence out of mountains of evidence to put in front of you with no context to explain what they're doing. The only judge, although Miss McDonald mentioned she's been a judge and was a judge several times during her jury selection, the only judge in this courtroom that matters is Judge Matthews.
Judge Wooten. Yeah, so she references the prosecutor.
Sounds like an ass kiss to me.
Ms. McDonald. She doesn't look like she likes her too much. Makes a few comments here and there. And the defense and the prosecution and the judge had a lot of heated arguments. There's one that I'm going to also upload to our channel the highlights of, and it was pretty fascinating.
And the only other people whose judgment
Pause this a
matters.
second. EMC says, what is Smith's win to loss rate? I wouldn't hire her to clean my bathrooms.
Oh no. Somebody get me Dan Rashbaum on the horn.
I know, right?
Are the 12 of you who will collectively decide this case. I will openly admit that I'm a lawyer who messes up. I get thrown off when I'm surprised by something. I feel like I get overwhelmed when information is coming at me quickly.
And there were several times when Shannon was questioning a witness, she would stop in the middle and look at the prosecution and say, "That's so distracting. You're saying object, object, and I can't concentrate on this."
Like she's never
Judge.
been to court before.
And I guess, they were talking about, should we object or what, but she stopped in the middle of questioning.
I say I'm sorry a lot. Evidently, there's a TikTok channel of me saying I'm sorry through this whole trial. And all I'm saying is that I'm human. So during this trial, I have stood before you and shown you all my flaws, and I embrace them, and they are a part of what makes me human.
What do you think of this strategy so far? The sort of mea culpa, my bad.
That's terrible. That's completely stupid.
She talked about herself so much in this closing
I know.
argument.
Why aren't you talking about what's her butt?
She does, but there's
You know?
a lot of personal stuff. I don't
By the
know.
way, could what's her butt have at least put her hair in a ponytail or something?
What's her
She
butt?
looks like they found her on the street.
And so has Jennifer Crumbley. She got on the stand and talked about every nook and cranny of her life, things no one else in the world knew, in her family, among her friends. And she wanted you to see the whole truth, the entire truth, and nothing but the truth.
And one of those revelations,
So help you God.
so help her God,
Uh-huh.
was her affair. She cheated on James. So
Yeah.
he found out with the rest of the world.
Oh my gosh, he didn't know they didn't go through that privately.
No, she said they haven't talked in a couple of years since it happened, so.
Oh wow.
On everything. I saw a meme about a week ago that said, I'm trying to be a mom, trying to get exercised, stay
Aida.
hydrated.
Hey, Aida.
Hey, welcome.
Who else has popped in that I haven't noticed? We got to say hi to some of these people.
Yeah, who's in here?
Okay, I don't want to screw you up. Foo Bartemp? Did
Foo
I
Bartemp.
read that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to screw up that name. And then Aida, there's somebody else that came in. Feel like we're skipping people.
All right, we'll catch up with y'all.
Get enough sleep, text everyone back, and not lose my shit. And I've got to be honest, as a mom, a working mom, on most days, I'm lucky if I'm fit for human contact. I'm lucky if I've taken a true shower and didn't just grab a handful of wipes and scrub off
dear
the best I
God.
can on my way running out the door, putting on my makeup as I drive to court in my car.
And what's that called, Tiffie Lou, when you take a handful of wipes?
It's called a whore bath, dude. It's called a whore bath. All right.
That was a little, I felt that was a little too personal.
She's
of
an
a moment.
oversharer. We don't need to know all of that.
But
Okay.
I see what she's going for. It's like, okay, Jennifer Crumbley is not perfect, but you know what? No one's perfect. And
No
that's
one's
true.
perfect,
you know?
but my gosh, we're talking about the entire lifespan of this kid. He was ignored
Yeah.
always from the very beginning.
Seems like it.
He was neglected from the very start. So it's not just about this one incident.
Yeah.
Because my life is not perfect and no one's is. And during this trial, you may have concluded that you don't like me, that you hate me. That's fine. I am just
Barton, smelly lawyer confirmed.
Right. She just outed herself.
Oh.
And speaking of smelly lawyers, well, this doesn't really have anything to do with that at all, but
Changing the subject.
Yeah, no, I posted on the community tab today too. If you are a lawyer and you're in our audience and would like to come on the show occasionally,
Oh yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, we'd like to interview you.
offer some expert commentary on the cases we cover, let us know. Email me at andrew@absolutelycriminal.com.
Just asking that your opinions about me as a person, and if you're one of the people
And I know you're not smelly.
who plans to make a TikTok about me, that you won't hold those opinions against Jennifer Crumbley and will judge Jennifer Crumbley's case based on the evidence about her and her family. Pretty early on, I realized I am Jennifer Crumbley, and I could be here accused and sitting in her spot very easily.
She is Jennifer Crumbley, it turns out.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Plot twist.
How did, all right.
Now, in my house, we don't have guns. I don't have guns, but I do have children. And actually, I have an oopsie baby, my fourth one. I did not want 4 in 4 years, but that's what I was blessed with. I say I'm abundantly blessed. And I have kids that seem to have no issues. And at the end of the day, they're good kids. They go to school. We have no discipline problems. We have arguments here and there, just like every family does. I have a son that wants to hang out with me very rarely, but I have no belief that any of my 4 children would ever harm anyone else. And
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, you never really think your kid is capable of something like this.
I do.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Kids are capable of all sorts of things.
Yeah, you're right.
I've seen
Yeah.
enough. What's that show we watch?
Oh,
Scared Straight.
Scared
Beyond Scared Straight.
Mhm.
All sorts of kids.
Yeah.
All sorts of walks.
while I don't have a gun, I have a large butcher block on my counter with big knives that I use when I cook, and I enjoy cooking. My son plays a lot of video games. My son's online talking to a bunch of people.
here's
He's
the
playing
penis
a lot
thing
of video
again.
games. Even though he has a cell phone, I don't go through it and look at his messages every day.
You already said that.
Well, this is the clip from earlier about the hoo-ha.
Well, okay. This isn't her repeating herself.
No.
Okay. I'm like, we already heard about that, about his bits and
Yeah.
pieces.
And as he gets older, I do know he's interested in girls. If he starts receiving nude pictures of a girl on the cell phone I owned but let him use and gave him for his birthday when he turned 11, should I be held accountable for receiving child pornography if a girl sexts him over some inappropriate pictures? If
Only if you know about it and leave it there. And yeah.
my son decides he's going to send some pictures back and takes a nude picture of his bits and pieces, that's a 20-year felony. Am I then responsible because he sent a picture of his penis over?
I bet your son loves being the topic right now
Right,
as an
so-
example,
so
by the
let's-
way.
let's
He's
re-
got to go to school tomorrow.
Let's recap what these children are going to find out. That the youngest is an oopsie baby.
Oops, didn't mean to have you.
And then bits and pieces.
Girl. So the first place the defense finds reasonable doubt is in the fact that the prosecution is so desperate to prosecute this case that they admitted a mountain of evidence that quite frankly was unnecessary. Now they say to you they needed to show you, they needed to prove the manner of death. We stipulated that 4 people died. We stipulated that it was the most horrific set of facts you could ever imagine. We stipulated that what happened to Molly Darnell and Christy Gibson Marshall was horrible.
And those two ladies, teacher and assistant principal, after they testified, that's when the first sort of argument came up between the two sides. The prosecutor stood up and said, we're not, the defense lawyer is sobbing. We were all told to sort of restrict our emotions, and then Shannon took offense to that was not sobbing. And I think that was the moment where she appeared to flip off the camera or the jury or
she's
the
classy.
audience rather.
But this prosecution, putting that evidence on, was designed to inflame you and make you emotional, strike your sympathy, and get you to hate Mrs. Crumbley. When Brian Maloche testified, another example came about.
Okay, Brian Maloche, the man that Jennifer had an affair with.
That's the dude she hooked up with?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's about to get run over by a bus.
Where the prosecution had him testify that Mrs. Crumbley said to delete his messages, clear your cache. And I'm so thankful that the rest of the world sent me emails that I don't know.
Yeah,
how to
Wesley,
pronounce.
they did find her guilty.
Yep. Yeah, let me go back here a little bit. Later, she does drive over Brian with a bus, but first she says
that
this.
Mrs. Crumbley said to delete his messages, clear your cache. And I'm so thankful that the rest of the world sent me emails that I don't know how to pronounce cache, because now I do. And
C-A-C-H-E. I used to pronounce it cache, but then I was told it was cash.
Is it cash? I've never heard that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can pronounce it both ways, but yeah, she's grateful for all those helpful emails,
Sure.
as are we when we make a mistake here on Absolutely Criminal.
when Brian ended up seeing
Oh, you just says it is cash. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
the messages before clear your cache
It certainly looks like cache, but yeah, it's...
and after clear your cache, he realized
Someone trolled her, I just said. Someone trolled her, telling her she's saying it wrong.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That's so
They're
funny.
like, it's not cash, it's cache.
Either that or that somebody actually knew it was or thought it was cache.
Yeah.
Wanted to be a know-it-all.
It
Doesn't really matter. She ends up saying it wrong repeatedly, but I would have too. I didn't know it was cash.
It reminds me of a little bit of the Daryl Brooks situation. There was a day where he was trying to pronounce the word tacit, T-A-C-I-T, and he kept saying tacket. Pronounced it with a K sound.
Oh, right.
But the next day he came in and was saying tacit.
Okay, so
somebody
corrected
back,
him.
yeah.
oh, she wasn't asking me to delete messages. She wanted me to refresh my web browser to see if the Facebook had actually deactivated. There's also no...
So that's why she's saying that she told Brian to clear his cache. Sounds very fancy.
Cache.
Not because she wanted the history deleted. No, it was because wanted to see if the Facebook page refreshed, I think.
context around some of this little
like
bits
shit,
and pieces of useless evidence.
She said bits and pieces again.
I know. So penises again, or are we talking about something else?
No, now we're talking about evidence.
Oh.
Like Jennifer Crumbley saying that her son was an oopsie baby. I call my son that, so what? Does that mean I hate my son? Does that mean I would be okay if he went and killed a bunch of people and or if he committed suicide? No.
That's sort of a straw man argument. We're not saying that Jennifer is responsible because she's called him an oopsie baby. It was all the previous
all
the other stuff.
Do you make sure your oopsie baby goes to school?
So I think she's arguing an argument that wasn't even really made.
Yeah.
Calling your child an oopsie baby was designed to try to make her look bad with no context. And part of what made me realize I could be in Mrs. Crumbley's shoes is I've sent texts to my husband saying, our daughter is a psycho today. On the way to school last week, she's crying. She doesn't have people to sit with at lunch. I texted him, she's a nutcase. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this. I don't have time for this.
All right. We sometimes say, you're nutter butters.
Okay. But I don't tell you that Madeline's psychotic.
Right.
And she doesn't have friends.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What the? Okay. You're not helping your own argument as a parent here,
It's like she's trying to get on Jennifer's level. and it's a strategy, I suppose.
This is not work. No wonder that she's guilty. This is not helpful at all.
I didn't think so.
My other daughter is complaining about her
God.
lights flickering in her room. I texted my husband, this sounds like a case. The start of a case. My husband works for my office. He's actually my office manager, so he knows about the case. He went in her room and figured out in 5 minutes it's because when she flips her blow dryer on, one of our plugs makes the lights flicker. I also got text one day. We have no food in our house. I am absolutely starving. You are the worst mother ever. And you know what I did? I ignored it.
I ignored it.
Dude, if this was my lawyer and I was Crumbley, I would be shrinking down in my chair right now. Just be like, here's my hands, put the cuffs on. Okay.
Oh, but wait, it gets even better.
Like, what the?
She was mad we didn't have the right kind of chicken ramen. When we have 85, I like the number 85. When we have 4 other flavors of ramen, and there's about 100 other things she can eat, and I knew she's not going to starve to death, but taken out of context, it makes me look like a neglectful mother.
Okay, I will say that our daughter has the same sort of issue. I'm hungry.
She changes her mind about what she likes.
And we
too.
have a house full of food, but nothing sounds good.
But we don't have mini tacos, so therefore she's
right.
She's just gonna
I'm
waste
just gonna starve.
away. Yeah. I get that argument, but
I can relate, yes.
yeah.
Maybe not to the rest of it though.
And when I'm driving home from court every day,
Oh, this is a good one. I think, see what you think about this.
I'm getting messages, will you at least call back? And I don't, because I know what they want is for me to run through the McDonald's drive-thru and bring everyone a Coke. I do stop and get myself a Coke, but I am not getting a round of drinks every day for everyone. And I've realized it's easier to not answer the phone.
Wait, you actually go to McDonald's?
So yeah,
and you're just not willing to shell out an extra few bucks for everybody else to have a drink?
She goes through the drive-thru.
It's one thing if like you're busy, you're not going to be able to go by. I get that.
I can understand if you don't want to stop at McDonald's at all.
Right,
but
right.
You're already there. I mean,
what the hell?
that seemed a little bit cold.
Wow.
Next, they went to March 16th through 19th, which was broken up into a million exhibits that, quite frankly, were out of order, threw me off my game, helped create these beautiful TikToks. These are all the Facebook messages between James and Jennifer. So when you look at those Facebook messages and consider, and this includes the photographs and the GPS stuff, that they're using this much compared to this much over the period between January 2021 and the shooting. This is a very little bits in time compared to the grand scheme of things.
So she's saying that whole stack is all the records, but the folder she picked out is just what the prosecution cherry picked to but all this is in evidence. The jury's going to take it back and I'm sure read that whole stack.
And while the officer testified and played games with me that he's not sure this is the best evidence against Mother, you better believe if they had better evidence, they'd be up here showing stronger and better evidence. This is it, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. She also throws a cop under the bus.
And what you would have to believe, and what I would believe, is that if the state had stronger evidence, they would have paraded it up and we would have been seeing a lot more of these. But instead, they were admitted, and you haven't heard the friend testify, you haven't heard any context about these, and all you can see, and really all the evidence shows, is that there's no reason to believe Mrs. Crumbley ever saw them.
That's a favorite argument of people that get caught saying something they shouldn't. Well, you don't have the context. You didn't play the whole video.
If you put my texts up there and showed every time I told my mom that one of my kids was acting depressed or weird, I guess my favorite word is moody these days, it would look like my kids were complete lunatics. I'm actually shocked Jennifer Crumbley doesn't have more texts about her son acting like a typical teenager.
Okay, wait. There is nothing that he did or behaved even before the shooting that was typical. He was crying out for help in so many ways.
It seems like it.
You know?
Like when he texted his friend that he asked his mom for help and she just kind of laughed it off.
Right.
I mean, who knows what really is the truth, but it certainly seems that there was a little bit of neglect.
Professionals told Mrs. Crumbley her son was not a risk, and Mrs. Crumbley relied upon it. This school also failed to even really look at the situation and tell her about things from the year before. They made it very clear that he was not in any kind of discipline issue, which is shocking to me and was shocking to Mrs. Crumbley, considering he's off topic looking at bullets in school.
What's up, Wesley John Holmes? I like the name Swiffer, Duster, Kitty, and Friends.
Yeah, I know. That's quite a name.
Good one.
He's looking at a video in school of some kind of violent pictures, and then he draws a gun on his math paper instead of doing the math paper. These professionals testified about how common guns are at the school, so common, and this kind of blew me away, although I live out there.
This blew me away too. Let's see if you think this is true.
That students are known to go to the gun ranges often, that girls on homecoming wearing their short little party dresses they wear to the dance take photos before the dance holding their guns, that kids go hunting on Late Start Wednesday before they go to school, and the school has to give reminders to parents.
You remember that photo of when we went to the Christmas dance together in high school, and between us we were holding our Glock?
No. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't either.
Yeah.
People leave their guns at home. So this school that obviously has a strong gun culture going on, that sees a student looking at bullets, looking at a video game type thing with violence, and seeing a gun drawn on a paper, that these school officials, knowing that community, that they didn't ask if he had a gun when they carried the backpack down.
And why can't you?
Yeah, this is funny. Was this a public defender? No,
Right.
She hired her.
Yeah, I don't know how it came about. Who contacted whom? You know?
Yeah.
That would be fascinating to know. Maybe Shannon Smith will come on our show.
This is a community that is so into guns. I can't even believe that these girls, I always look at those pictures on Facebook and think, oh my God, how short are those dresses? And these are girls showing their dresses with their guns in their hand.
That's
What school do you go to? Like,
Right.
what?
I mean, this is the United
Dude,
States.
the judge
but-
looks like she just wants to go home and have her face shot off. You know?
They know this is a gun community. Brian is a
Oh, thanks again, Wesley.
You're
rock.
awesome. How's the morning in Japan? It's early over there. I think you said it was 5 a.m. last time we started at noon.
No, Friday he said it was noon on Saturday, so it was a good time for him then.
Well, thank you for those sweet, sweet Australian dollars. We
I know.
appreciate it.
terrible witness. He said he had memory problems. And quite frankly, when he's testifying that he knows that the gun was in the car that day of the shooting, we all know no one thinks that's true. Mrs. Crumbley testified and explained the day the gun was in the car. Brian's just wrong. I would submit to the jury that Brian is just an idiot and has no clue.
Early 5-ish.
Oh, yeah, early 5-ish, definitely. All right, here's where Brian gets thrown under the bus, the other man.
Right.
Crumbley testified and explained the day the gun was in the car. Brian's just wrong. I would submit to the jury that Brian is just an idiot and has no clue.
Have you ever heard that in a closing argument?
Wow. Okay.
It gets better.
And that the truth is, he didn't know the details about where the shooter's friend went. He just knew he.
Aida, she doesn't know if we have a paid membership deal, Patreon, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We do have a membership deal for $3 a month. Yeah.
Just go to our community tab. We have some details there. And we have exclusive videos and other things. It's time to do something for our members.
I know we do. Yeah, we gotta drop all you regulars. We gotta go back to members.
No. But
I'm just teasing.
But we certainly do owe you one.
Yes.
So coming soon.
Went away.
And thank you for asking.
But it's clear that Brian Maloche has been put on a mission, which is you're coming into court, you've got some things hanging over your head, and we want you to take a position against Mrs. Crumbley. And I would submit to you that if you read the 77-page exhibit that I got yesterday and went through in painstaking detail with you, you can see that Brian Maloche did not think of Mrs. Crumbley that way when he knew her and when he dealt with her. And he testified the only places he got new information about her that made him think differently about his answers were from law enforcement and were from the media.
So she was claiming that the police sort of leaned on Brian and they questioned him until they got the response that they wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't that what they always do?
Pretty much.
Which is why you shouldn't say anything.
Right.
Little bits of information is particularly dangerous because he's not the sharpest. And that's what the press.
God, I feel so bad for Brian, you know?
And coming soon, she's about to talk about an officer that's in court and points at him and says some interesting things.
Prosecution did. They used him to their advantage to try to make it sound like they have this case and all these horrible statements against Mrs. Crumbley. And by the way, when they presented evidence that Mrs. Crumbley is deleting texts and keep making it sound like she selects different texts here and there, it actually sounds like Mrs. Crumbley deletes all her texts, as she testified, that when people start flooding her with text, she deletes entire threads at a time.
Oh, that's what I do.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't like build up. I do that with emails too.
Yeah, that's believable. I mean, if there's a certain select number of things that you delete and not delete others, that's a red flag. But I don't think her phone was completely empty.
I don't delete my stars, which is you, my son, and my mom. But everybody that falls below that, after a while, I'll just, well, we're not talking about that anymore. Delete.
We're in your constellation.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Deleting, we saw her on her phone, flipping through them super fast. Christy Gibson Marshall, the assistant principal, who did do one of the bravest things I've ever seen. She testified she saw the shooter's face and couldn't believe it was him. And the reason she couldn't believe it was him is because it was so unforeseeable.
And what a chilling moment. She described locking eyes with him, and she was out in the open, vulnerable, and he put his arm down. He didn't point the gun at her.
Thanks for sharing that, Sparkles. She's sharing the membership link.
Oh, thank you, Sparkles.
Yeah, now everyone can join. Yay!
We appreciate it. And if you're having a good time like we are, just hit thumbs up and subscribe. Those are the best ways to help out our channel. Thank you.
And she's just doing each thing she needs to do as a hypervigilant mother. And yes, a hypervigilant mother can have a drink once in a while. I'm a hypervigilant mother, and I not only have a drink once in a while, but sometimes I've been known to have 2 or 3.
Oh, that she says, but I'm actually an alcoholic.
No, let me go back a little bit. She says, I have 2 or 3.
I not only have a drink once in a while, but sometimes I've been known to have 2 or 3 or maybe a bottle.
Okay.
Sounds like Sarah Boone territory.
Is your husband at least sober during those moments, or are you both tossing him back?
Toss back a bottle of wine. We all do that when we get home.
Yeah.
She's going to the gun range for him, not because she enjoys it. You can tell how much she loves it when she gets up there, shoots a couple shots, and then just stands there letting him enjoy the activity he likes. And I do the same thing for my kid. He likes to go to skate parks. I would rather do anything but go to the skate park. But I sit there and watch and say, oh, that was amazing. And all I hear is, Mom, watch this. Mom, watch this. Mom, watch this. And I would rather do anything else.
Yeah.
I have an argument for that. I mean, fortunately have to defend her in that. Taking Madeline to the park is, watch me hang.
Right.
Look at this. Stop doing whatever you're doing. Don't talk to another parent. Look at me.
We can't watch 100% of the time.
Right.
Like our child would like. Yeah.
But Mrs. Crumbley on that day is trying her best to bond with her child and have a relationship. Showing the pictures of the messy house was just not necessary. And the prosecution explained to you they weren't trying to prove she had a messy house, but much of it was just so unnecessary that I would say,
Aida joined. Yay! Welcome.
Welcome, Aida. Thank you very much.
suggest they are trying to make her look bad. They do kind of make her look a little bit like a hoarder. But if you just want to make sure
5:30 in the morning. Oh, Wes, just pour yourself a bottle. It's totally common.
So she just basically called her client a hoarder, if you missed that.
I know I did, but oh gosh, I hope nobody judges our life based on how our house looks.
Yep, exactly.
pictures of my house right now, like a snapshot in time, you'd be just as horrified. I've been so busy getting ready for this trial, ready for all the fun we've had in the court and through these last few weeks. I still have my Christmas trees up.
Okay,
So do
there's
we.
nothing wrong with that. You just change it to white lights and then it's an everyday tree. We all know the rules.
It makes a lovely atmosphere.
It does.
I was complaining to my husband the other day, oh my God, we still have our Christmas trees up. This is embarrassing. And he said, hey Shannon, we still have ceramic pumpkins up. And I realized, oh yeah, all of our fall decorations are out too. And right now, I have piles of laundry all over. My kids over Christmas break put together stacks of stuff I need to take to the Salvation Army. I have donations of my own that need to go. My house right now, if they did a search warrant today, would look just as bad as Mrs. Crumbley's. And it says nothing about
Oh,
me.
Cheryl joined too. We got another one. My gosh, they're just dropping like flies.
Awesome. Thank
Welcome,
you, Cheryl.
everybody. By the way, Irene, I do agree with your point. One or two of the things Jennifer did and didn't do is not bad. It's just the totality. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why isn't she going back over the horror movies he watched at 5 years old?
There's not any one thing she did, but the totality. That's right. Like we've all had these kinds of moments with our kids, frustrating arguments and stuff, and like, oh yeah, look at you, But yeah,
Give me a break.
yeah.
Parenting my child. Reasonable doubt can be seen in the video when Mrs. Crumbley first sees her son at the substation. Her reaction to seeing him in this complete state of disbelief as to what's going on is to look at him and say, why? Why? She doesn't look at him and say, I knew you were going to do this. She doesn't look at him and say, see, I knew we shouldn't have bought that gun. She says, why? Why? And when he says, take care of Dexter.
Yeah, their cat was named after
After
a fictional serial killer,
Oh,
Dexter.
nice. Oh, clever.
She cannot believe that's her son and goes back into the other room with her husband and says, what the fuck? He didn't even care.
And I think I remember hearing somewhere that he did watch Dexter. And
Well, I watched Dexter. It's a great show.
yeah, but you don't let your your young kid watch.
Madeline has not seen
Yeah.
Dexter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while the prosecution asked questions about, well, she's not sobbing, and we hear sobbing, and that's clearly James. James is sobbing. When you look at the video, if you decide you need to see it, Mrs. Crumbley is dabbing her eyes and wiping her eyes, and fine, she's not the crier some other people are. She shows sadness in the way that she shows sadness. And for these officers to get up on the stand and say, she didn't behave like the mother of a school shooter should behave, is nonsense. None of them have ever dealt with the mother of a child, a teenager, who has just killed people and shot many others. You can find reasonable doubt in the fact that the police officers are very, very biased in this case. There is no doubt this is one of the most awful situations in any one of them.
I got to explain some of those noises.
You don't need to pause every time you fart, Andrew.
It wasn't a fart. It was, and I think it's charging now. Oh, thank God. No, my laptop I forgot it wasn't plugged in and just gave us like the 2-minute warning, before it went dead. So I ran to the other room, got the charger. What did I miss, Tiffie Lou?
Absolutely nothing. Hit play. Let's finish.
Let's go.
Have ever been involved in. But it's also very clear they have a narrative that Jennifer Crumbley is responsible, and when they came in here and took that witness stand, they were going to mess with me on questions that were so stupid. Like this ATF agent telling me he doesn't know if teenagers could lie.
He's pointing right at the ATF agent right now.
Everyone in the room knows a teenager could lie. That was a low ball. Just answer the question. I am going to drive to my...
You know who could play her in a movie is that chick from The Office, Jane.
That plays Pam?
Yeah, Pam.
Okay, yeah.
She could play her.
She would be a great Shannon Smith.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what actor you would cast in each role in the Crumbley saga.
I don't know who would play Crumbley, but yeah.
Kathy Bates.
Now, I'll give you a call in about 45 minutes so I can get...
Okay, these are the texts that are normally privileged between a lawyer and her client, but they came out thanks to some sloppy questioning and testimony.
Just answer the question. I am going to drive home from my office right now. I'll give you a call in about 45 minutes so I can get all of the bond factor information written down for you.
And this is on the 3rd when they were about to stay overnight at the studio, their friend's art studio.
Mm-hmm.
For Marielle and me. I'm asking for bond information so we can go to the court in the morning.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. There's a prior ruling. She cannot be a witness. That was already dealt with.
Sorry, I thought I was arguing off the evidence they admitted.
Well, you can argue off the evidence.
Okay. So they say at 7:37, okay, we'll be waiting.
I wonder if Dan Rashbaum will face the same problem. Will he be forced to testify about appearing to advise Donna that she could flee, where she says, Dan told us, well, we might make it, might not. Can't be a witness and a lawyer at the same time.
I like what Wesley shares. For those of us who are parents, understand that this woman has some type of responsibility for that child's upbringing, and she completely failed him.
Yeah.
And apparently the jury agreed. Yeah.
I'm going to call in 1 minute, okay? Then at 11:14 on the phone that both of them have been using, a text is sent to the lawyers. Think we might have been found, don't know, just a heads up, please check. It's not for a couple hours that they're actually found, but Mrs. Crumbley testified she didn't send that text and she was already asleep. I am not standing here suggesting that James is guilty of involuntary manslaughter in any way, but it is important to point out that James was the parent responsible for all of the storage of the guns. Jennifer Crumbley barely knew a thing about them. She didn't object to them being in the house. She didn't object to buying the gun that James and Ethan were interested in. She didn't object to calling it Ethan's Christmas gift.
But she's one of the parents. She could have ensured that the guns were locked up.
Mm-hmm.
All that had to happen were the guns being locked up and you take the key or you hide the key.
Right. Yeah.
Preferably just keep it on your person.
Right.
And this all could have been avoided.
She was not responsible at all for the storage of the weapon.
Yeah, I think James is screwed.
I don't think they both are. They're
Yeah.
both equally. I don't. Yeah.
Well, see, and I thought James is more responsible than her, so it'll be interesting to see his trial kick off.
I am asking that you find Jennifer Crumbley not guilty, not just for Jennifer Crumbley, but for every mother who's out there doing the best they can, who could easily be in her shoes, for every parent doing the best they can, who could easily be in their shoes.
This isn't fair for her to use that argument because other teens have done this kind of activity and the parents were not held responsible. So therefore, she stands out. Her upbringing of this kid stands out.
Yeah, and this is really the first case of its kind. Trying a school shooter's parents for the, sometimes they end up being killed themselves by their kid.
Right.
A parent that has snippets of text messages that could be read and make them look like horrible monsters. For every parent that has fights with their kid on text message that also would make them look like terrible parents. At this point in trial, I always have to sit down. This is how the court rules work. Prosecution gives a closing, I give a closing, they have an opportunity for rebuttal, and then I don't get to say anything else.
Thank God.
I'm sure you can see from my demeanor in trial, when the prosecution says something that I know I have an argument against, I get anxious, you can see a reaction, and I'm not going to do that, but I am going to tell you that as they argue, I will have many things that I wish I could get up and say, that's not true, and argue again. So what I would ask is that when you go back in the jury room and begin to deliberate, you think about and ask yourselves, what would Shannon Smith have said in response to the rebuttal where they get the last word? I would just ask that you consider that in your deliberations, because I guarantee you I'll have a very hard time sitting here knowing that the prosecution gets the last word.
If the jury considered that, they sat there and thought, what would Shannon Smith say in this situation? You would hear laughter coming from the jury room, I think, shortly after.
Yeah.
When I know the defense would disagree with it. And I am asking each of you to vote that Mrs. Crumbley is not guilty because she is not guilty. And because a not guilty verdict is the only fair and just result in this case. Thank you.
Oh, God, she's finally done.
Drops the microphone and walks
Dang.
out of the court.
Gosh, that was horrible.
Yeah, so what do y'all think? Did she offer a competent defense?
No, EMC's like, I'll tell you, me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what was in the thumbnail that I put up this compilation. Just me in the background.
Oh my gosh, it reminds me of that Muppet.
me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at the 1 hour mark here, but we're gonna.
Aida, I feel bad for her kids too. Oh my gosh, she dragged every single one of them into that case and talked about all their little negative little.
Yeah.
Shout
out to her kids. I hope they never ever watch
I hope
this.
their friends aren't watching this.
Yeah. All right. Well, Colonel Underpants, Russell Williams, when last we left, Investigator Smith, also named Smith, Jim Smith, left the room to, go check on things and see how the case was doing like they do.
Yeah.
But he comes back in and really puts the screws to him. It's a come
cool.
to
He's
Jesus
been
moment.
really friendly up until now.
Yeah. So we're going to pick up here where this is just before he leaves the room and he's asking, he says, we found your name in Marie-France Como's diary. Is there any reason that you would be linked to her?
Right.
So that's the question put to him now.
Things like that. Now, I'm not at liberty to tell you what the content was, but is there any reason at all you can think of why Marie France Como would have specifically referenced you in some of her writings?
Not at all.
No?
You can't think of anything?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Is there anything that she ever said to you that led you to believe that there might be something more than a passing interest with her towards you?
Not at all. No, we spent, one flight together talking. I'd go back occasionally and talk. No,
All his other victims were random. Like he would drive by, he saw one in the window exercising, came back.
This one was personal.
Yeah. And this not only personal, but just really the riskiest move he could have made.
if that's the case, that's very surprising.
Okay. All right. You have any questions for me right now?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to step out and see how things are going.
You're
okay?
really hugging
I mean, it is a
yourself
Sunday,
pretty
but there's
tight
probably
there.
60, 70 people.
Hugging your.
You look at him.
And now he says we have 60 or 70 people working on this case right outside the
Dude,
door.
if somebody said that to me, I would be like shitting.
Yeah, my gut would
bricks.
drop to the
Yeah,
floor.
I'd be like, oh my gosh, okay.
Cold sweat.
Working on this file, so there's a lot of things happening.
Yeah, Wesley Renee isn't here. Where is Renee today?
Oh no. I think maybe we caught her too early. And surprise. But that's all right. She's allowed to.
Yeah, she's allowed to have a day off.
Yeah, of course.
We'll allow it this time.
We have Sparkles holding down the fort here.
So let me go out and see what's happening, and then I'll come back in and we'll hopefully continue. Okay? I told you when I came in here that I'm going to treat you with respect, and I've asked you to do the same for me.
Look at that face, looking at him, wondering what he's going to say.
He is squeezing his butt cheeks together.
We talked about the whole idea of how we've approached you here. Okay, the trying to be as discreet as possible. Okay, but the problem is, Russell, is every time I walk out of this room, there's another issue that comes up.
Yeah, so these are some of the photos that he took.
Didn't he want to shave before taking these photos?
And what he has a very specific stance in each of them. What is that? It's like almost looks like a mannequin. You know how you would pose a mannequin in a store?
I guess.
And then this is a picture of just some of the underwear that he collected from all his.
Gosh, that's more underwear than I have.
Okay, and it's not issues that point away from you; it's issues that point at you. Okay, and I want.
No, you can't. We're gonna go back and show you again.
Boom! There you go.
There you go.
All right.
All right, I want you to see what I mean. All right. This is the footwear impression of the person who approached the rear of Jessica Lloyd's house on the evening of the 28th and 29th of January.
Yeah.
Okay? All right? Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is slightly smaller, okay, in scale. Okay?
Okay.
All right? That's not to scale. The footwear is actually bigger.
Okay.
If you look here on the ruler, you'll see that 1 inch is just slightly smaller than an actual inch. Okay.
Talking about the boots they examined that they just took off his feet and compared to the tracks.
Too much at 6 a.m. Sorry, Wesley.
Oh no.
Sparkles needs a grown up.
Where are the adults?
Okay, but this is the way it prints off on the computer.
Yeah.
I'm going to move this over so you can see what I mean, all right? Because essentially when you're dealing with footwear impressions, we have a gentleman on the OPP who's basically world-renowned. His name is John Norman. And
You done with OPP?
Ugh, stop.
Ontario Provincial Police, of course.
And essentially with footwear impressions, you're in a situation where you're pretty much in the area of fingerprints, okay? And essentially what we're talking about here is, especially when you start adding in other pieces of information that support an investigative position, okay?
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, he
Thank you
wanted
for the
the
shout back.
follow-up, Sparkles. I wouldn't give in, but okay.
Reminds me of high school.
This is a photocopy of the boot that you took off your foot just a little while ago, okay? Now, I'm not an expert in footwear.
the forehead goatee. Yeah, so Russ is obviously a very illogical man. and Investigator Smith is about to lay out the case in front of them, show them all the evidence they have. And you can see the wheels just like turning. This is like it's got so many good parts in it.
Impressions, so I rely on the experts. Footwear impressions are very much like fingerprint comparisons, okay? You take a look at this print, and again, this is one print. This person walked through, there's several different prints to compare, so we're going to get features off of one print to compare,
He has
features
to
off
know
another.
he's screwed right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking at it like he's trying to figure it out, but you come on, you know.
The shoes and
Come
then
on,
the
they
tires.
have you just.
Yep.
Yeah.
Print to compare.
Yep.
These are identical.
Yikes.
Okay. Your vehicle drove up the side of Jessica Lloyd's house. Your boots walked to the back of Jessica Lloyd's house on the evening of the 28th and 29th of January. Okay. You want discretion. We need to have some honesty, okay? Because this is getting out of control really fast, Russell.
This moment always gives me chills because it's like you can just see him turning from the confident colonel into just processing this and realize, yep.
Oh, a little backsplash. Little Smith says that she's heard that she's a public defender for the mom. I didn't know she was a public defender.
Oh, Shannon?
Yeah.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay, really, really fast.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Wow.
Something to think about.
He's staring at that picture,
This
but
is getting beyond
he's not seeing it at all with the thoughts racing through his head.
my control. All right, I came in here a few hours ago, and I called you the way I called you today because I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt. But you and I both know you were at Jessica Lloyd's house, and I need to know why.
You can speak anytime now.
The pregnant pauses in this interrogation just speak volumes. I mean, it's really entertaining to watch.
I don't know what to say. That's
Well, you need to explain it because this is the other problem we're having, Russell. Okay?
There's another problem.
Yeah.
Again, these decisions are made by me. Right now, there's a search warrant being executed at your residence in Ottawa. Okay? So your wife now knows what's going on.
Yikes! They're serving a search warrant at his house, and
Oh, they're gonna find all that crap.
now his wife knows what's going on.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
There's a search warrant being executed at your residence in Tweed, and your vehicle's been seized. Okay? You and I both know they're going to find evidence that links you to these situations. Okay? You and I both know that the unknown offender, male, may.
That was loud.
Would you stop hitting the mic,
put your
please?
paper down. What the heck?
On Marie France-Comeau's body is going to be matched to you, quite possibly before the evening's over. Okay?
Yikes.
This is a major investigation. The Center for Forensic Science is on call 24 hours a day helping us with this. Your opportunity to take some control here and to have some explanation that anybody is going to believe is quickly expiring.
And that's really smart here. Of course, it's a common tactic used in interrogations, but speaking to a military man, he says, look, if you want to maintain some kind of control here, you're going to have to come clean. And Russell is all about control and power.
Okay.
Make him think it was his
We're
idea.
The investigators now applying for a warrant to search your office. All right. These aren't decisions that we can say yes or no to. This is the practical steps in an investigation like this.
Let me take another
And
look.
Russell,
You should have the circle thing over his head, you know, loading.
Russell.
Yeah, someone said something about Shannon Smith being a public defender. She was retained counsel for Crumbley.
Okay,
Hire.
yeah, that's
what I
thought.
thought. I thought she was chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen to me for a second, okay? When that evidence comes in, when that DNA match, when that phone rings and somebody knocks on this door, your credibility is gone, okay? Because this is how credibility works, all right? And I know you're an intelligent person and you probably don't need to hear this explanation, but I also know your mind's racing right now, okay? Because I've sat across a lot of people in your position over the years, okay? The bottom line is that as soon as we get that piece of evidence that solidifies it, DNA, okay? As soon as the expert in footwear impressions, the expert in tire impressions, calls and says, yes, I've examined those and they're a match, it's all over. Because as soon as that happens, where's your credibility? Where's your believability? You're just another, and again, don't take this wrong, okay? But you can see if you step outside this room in your mind and imagine how people are going to view you, okay? If the truth comes out after the clear evidence is presented to you, when you finally go, okay, I'm screwed now, what are we going to do?
Why did it cut like that?
Yeah, I don't know. The interrogation does have a couple cuts in it. I don't know what was
Oh.
redacted.
Okay.
This is just the way it comes. What are we gonna do, Russ? He said.
Russell, you know there's only one option. What other option is there?
What's the option?
Well,
Coming
I don't
clean.
think
We
you
already
want the,
said that.
approach to here, okay?
Sorry, I have to find my space again. I
Oh.
accidentally clicked.
Great.
Take a walk. Huge search still underway, and it'll continue.
Okay, we've been there. I'm sorry, everybody. Just so much sitting in silence.
Yeah, Steelers says he can fly aircraft, yet he was dumb enough to pick victims and make it easy to connect them to the crimes. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I don't understand, why do so many of these people take pictures and save them and stuff? It's like, are you trying to get caught? Are you trying to get in trouble?
Yeah, it's the old Sarah Boone
Jessica,
recording your own crime.
What
Yeah.
the? I don't understand it.
somewhere we can find her easily.
And he was stone cold sober when he did these things too. I
Yeah, it
think.
wasn't like her when she was just wasted and drunk.
Yeah.
Like, is this something where I can make a call and tell somebody to go to a location and they're going to find her, or is this something where we have to go and
Dig her up.
Yeah.
take a walk?
Because she's still missing at this point, but obviously they know. They know. The video is
He's
not.
just sitting there with his hand resting on his hand.
Yeah, the video
Which
is.
direction are we heading in here?
The video is not paused. They're both sitting stone cold.
Holy crap, speak.
Investigator
At
Smith.
least deny it. Do something. This is boring.
He looks.
Talk.
He looks like he's playing poker, just waiting for his opponent to make a move.
Wesley says the silence is deafening.
It is. It
Yes.
really is.
Sparkles. No, I agree. I don't think he's stupid. He's a very intelligent person. I think a part of him did want to get caught. I think he knew he wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it had started with just the assaults. I mean, not just, but
Yeah.
and then he graduated to murder, and yeah, it wouldn't have stopped. Wow.
Russ, maybe this would help. Can you tell me what the issue is you're struggling with?
This cop is like a rock star
Mm-hmm.
of the interrogation world. There's another interrogation where he's really good too.
Yeah, that's what Wesley was saying, that he's like kick ass.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure this is shown in all their training of new detectives.
What's the issue you're struggling with?
Bama became a member.
Bama, Green Eyes, thank you so much. We're going to get something out to our members this week. Thank you. To our members and our subscribers and viewers that have helped us get this new computer that works a lot better than our old one. So thank you very much. It is like waiting for somebody to make a poker play, but this is the highest stakes of.
Okay, but it's his play.
Yeah, it's his play. Yeah, usually sometimes the guy will say, "Oh, it's my turn," but this is the highest stakes decision of his life, and what's he going to say here?
It's hard to believe this is happening.
Why is that? Why is
Speak
it
to
hard
me, Colonel. Come on.
Wow.
to believe?
It's hard to believe this is happening, he said. Yep. Wow.
It's just hard to believe.
Another jump cut there.
It's probably a lot of
Whose decision
pausing.
was it?
Yeah.
And we're going to find out the answer to this anyway. But it was just
And we're coming up to the end here shortly. I'm going to pause it at a certain point, and then we'll pick up next time on Absolutely Criminal Live on Friday.
decision was it to issue the directive to the base personnel that nobody had to speak to the police and to seek legal counsel before they were questioned? It's my
I don't
understanding.
think that was.
My understanding that direction came from somebody that reports to you. What do you think they're going to say,
Well,
Russ?
no.
What do you think they're going to say? All right, and let's step back for a second here, okay? I really don't think it benefits you or makes you look any better to start debating the little issues,
No,
okay?
but that is news to me.
Okay.
I have a legal officer that reports to me
Yeah.
who may have given that direction.
And maybe I'm crazy, but this part I actually believe that he didn't make that directive. I think he looks genuinely surprised, but it's a little point anyway.
But that's the first time I've heard it. If that's true, that's the first time I've heard that.
All right, and that may be the case, but how does it look? Right?
Bad optics.
We're not even dealing with something that's really even evidence because it's not needed. I mean, when
No,
you
no,
have,
but
when you
that-
have DNA and all this other stuff, that's not even.
He's like, we got you anyway, so we don't need this, but I want you to be truthful.
What was the
really an
direction?
issue. I don't recall, but it was something along the lines of telling the people on the base that they weren't required legally to speak with police, and they should seek legal counsel before they decide to speak. But
Not bad
Well,
advice.
if that was actually said, it would not have been to the base at large. It may have been to the individual, the boyfriend, who was the suspect.
okay, my understanding, it went out to all personnel.
No, absolutely.
Maybe no, only under your command. I don't know.
It didn't.
Okay, okay, that's
I
fine.
didn't ever see it.
That's fine. Now let's get back to the issue. What's that?
So you talk about perception. My only two immediate concerns from a perception
Look how red his
perspective
hand
are-
is right there.
Oh yeah, it's been tucked underneath for hours.
It doesn't have. Is it tingling yet, dude? You know.
Getting the blood flow back. It's a little purple too.
Mm.
what my wife must be going through right now,
Yeah.
and the impact this is going to have on the Canadian Forces.
Where do we go?
A lot of cuts here.
Russ, is there anything you want from me? Is
Let
there
me
anything
go.
you want me to explain? Is there something missing that you're struggling with that I can
Like I want to punch you in
shed
the
some light
face.
on for you?
Yeah,
I'm struggling with how upset my wife is right now.
Russ, what are you looking for?
I'm sure these words could not come out easily.
I'm concerned that they're tearing apart my wife's brand new house.
So am I. But if nobody tells them what's there and what's not, they don't have any choice. Computers will be brought to Microsoft in California. They'll be picked apart. You can't erase things from computers. It doesn't happen. I'm sure you've seen that. I'm sure that's pretty common knowledge these days. It just doesn't happen.
You know.
They sell programs that to try and help people clean their computers of stuff, and our guys are pulling that stuff out all the time. The FBI is pulling that stuff out all the time.
Not all the time, but lots of times.
Interesting. Steelers says that he was a colonel in
This
the
investi-
army and knows how rank can make you feel entitled, above criticism, and untouchable.
Yep, for sure.
Investigation will end up costing no less than $10 million. Easy.
Wow.
And they will say no to nothing. Any request this major case manager makes on this case, they've already been told it's approved. Don't even bother asking.
Money is no object. Yikes. He avoided wiping the goatee.
I think he strokes it.
He will tonight. What a chess game. What a poker game.
It's not really. I mean, I don't understand why he's.
What am I doing?
I get he doesn't want to admit to any of it,
Mhm.
but at the same time, he already knows he's caught.
Yeah, he can't believe this
So,
is happening.
What are
I mean,
like-
I can't imagine trying to push out those words. I did it. You know, he does
Why
eventually end
doesn't
up
he
doing
at
it.
least
But
say, "I'd like to speak with a lawyer"? Why is he not saying anything?
yeah, no, he doesn't do any of that. I guess he knows he has him dead to rights. He's a very logical, intelligent man, and you know, if there's one thing I can say for Russell Williams is he owned up to it. You know,
Yeah,
but that's about it. That's all I can say. That's
that you're
positive
going to give him
about
credit for.
Yeah.
Russ. I put my best foot forward here for you, bud. I really have. I don't know what else to do to make you understand the impact of what's happening here.
He's not chewing that gum anymore.
He swallowed it when they told him that his shoe print matched.
Wonder if he had his coffee yet. It's probably cold.
Did we talk?
I want to minimize the impact on my wife.
So do I.
And maybe that's the other one thing I can say for him is that he does appear to care about.
That would be
his
my
wife.
biggest concern, is upsetting other people. Because
Right.
obviously he does this for his own self-indulgence.
But shit, what kind of husband is that?
Yeah, that's true.
So how do we do that?
Well, we start by telling the truth.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So where is she?
Get a map.
What does
And
he say?
He says, got a map?
Got a map. Oh, okay. I thought he said
And-
get him out. Okay. Sparkle says these posits are thick. They are. They are painful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they left some of those in, or the long pauses, because they really are. That just speaks volumes about what's going on and gives me chills every time. I don't, you
Mhm.
know, but so that's where we'll leave it. He says,
Oh,
got
that's
a map.
great ending, but I'm all on the edge of my seat.
So we'll
Yeah.
resume that on Friday. And yeah, it's a totally different vibe in the second half of this interview.
Yeah,
as you might imagine.
okay, yeah.
It gets really heavy.
Okay,
So,
I can't wait. Now I can't
yeah,
wait. I
there
can't
might
wait.
there might not be so much chuckling during the next part. Is all I'm saying. His tuft is trembling. He's got the old trembling tuft. Yes.
Yeah.
Gotta trim that thing. But all right, everybody, we will see you on Friday. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, provided you enjoyed yourself today.
Assuming so.
Assuming so. You can see the highlights of Ms. Smith's closing on our channel. I'll put a link in the description, and we will head out.
All right.
Love you all. Thanks for coming. All right. Now, for real, I'm ending it. Thanks for coming.